Gannon has all the tools. I don't like because he has the forehand, he has the backhand. He seems to be able to hit lines. His putt is, I mean, I would already consider him one of the better putters on tour.
Yeah, it was thrilling. He felt like he could make it from anywhere.
When I watch his game, I don't see a possibility if he's playing that well to where he can't win anything.
Yeah,
at this point,
he didn't seem to have too many like glaring weaknesses. This hole has X, Y, or Z shot. Gannon just doesn't have it.
Right.
That's true of some players on tour where like there's some courses they just can't win at. And I agree. I think Gannon is just going to be like, can he consistently do it? But he seems to have, and there's many players nowadays like it where he seems to have just like that next level of talent. But let's get actually into MPO. So Drew Gibson actually ended up taking this down in a playoff over the man himself, Gannon Buhr. I guess the kid himself, Gannon Buhr.
Yeah.
Only 16 years old.
Insane,
Keep that in mind.
Insane.
Calvin Heimberg was able to finish in third. And then the dark horse result, Trevor won with this pick of Colton Montgomery, who finished 12th place. What a dark horse pick to start off the year. Quick storyline before we get into the actual storylines of the tournament. As of right now, let me just make sure by refreshing my page. Correct. As of right now, the payouts still have not been posted. So
I looked yesterday because I was talking to my wife and I was like, it is crazy that we're watching this event and like it is so hard to win and the stakes are so high and the winner's gonna win like $4,000.
Yeah, I kept checking.
I was like, this just can't be real.
I kept checking trying to see when it was updated. I never saw it.
Like it just seems silly.
So
watching all that go down.
hopefully it was increased and the winners can get like $6,000 or something like that. But I don't.
Gallery
know
was not very big.
No,
not very big.
No.
Once everybody collected on one hole, it looked a little bit significant. But when you were just watching, like not very loud, not very big.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's Vegas, so I don't know what kind of like there might just not be a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's just like the galleries right now are dependent fully on the local disc golf scene, essentially, like the disc golf scene within a few hour radius,
or if it's like a major, basically,
or if it's a major.
Right.
But people at this current moment aren't necessarily traveling just to watch a pro tour.
Looked like a really fun course to walk and spectate at.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you were kicking discs back into the fairway.
Hey, that's a big storyline at FPO. Is Kat did have a disc that hit a spectator and bounced back.
I know,
bounds.
and that's like the one shot
she won by one stroke
that I missed.
Apparently,
how bad was it?
I didn't see it either. Somehow, I was on my run. I didn't see it. I was running.
The clip.
Yeah, I'm a runner. I know. Apparently, it hit a kid, and the kid felt like really bad about it. Like they felt like they were like embarrassed by it. Like it was their fault, which is not your fault. Like
you can say whatever you want, but spectators getting hit is a part of the game. It happens in golf.
It's a part of the course.
It happens in golf too. Like people will get hit and the ball will bounce back into the fairway. Like
that's just a break.
Yeah, it's a break.
It's the same thing as like one player hitting and rolling away and one player hitting the exact same spot and staying. Like
it's one thing if somebody
of
purposely got in the way or
sure.
But like if you just hit somebody and it bounces, that's just part of the game.
What'll eventually happen is someone in like a playoff will like the disc will be flying out of bounds. They'll like hit it back in bounds.
Yeah,
that is a storyline. That's how they talk about. But as of right now, because it happened to Gannon at one point, where his disc hit a tree.
It was so hard to tell.
And then a spectator's ankle, and then rolled back.
It was so hard to tell because like it's falling out of the tree, and in real time, it just looked like the disc just got pulled by a string or something, and just got yanked back. And I was like, where did that skip?
Yeah, in slow mo, you saw like the guy was like trying to run away, and his leg like kicked up and kicked.
Probably
the disc.
wouldn't have mattered anyways, but
no.
Insane.
But like breaks like that, that's just part of the sport. Players are gonna get them, and it is what it is. If someone ever kicks a disc back in bounds, like intentionally,
then
or hits
something
it,
to talk about.
Then that's a storyline. But it's still not on the player. It's just gonna be on whatever that fan was. Yeah. Or if the opposite happens, a disc is coming in a player's spectator jumps and swats it OB farther. That would be ruthless. I don't know what you would do there.
I don't know if there's a ruling on
I don't think there
interference.
is. If
probably not.
If there's like during the playoff, Gannon shots coming in over the OB and someone jumps up and just slaps the disc farther OB.
Mario punch that thing underneath.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or like, what if they literally go in the fairway and grab it and just chuck it into the woods?
Well, that like if the disc has already landed, there's rules. Yeah. It's when the disc hasn't landed.
What if I can jam that thing
landed isn't you in your hand? Like you catch it.
Oh, you just catch it in
catch it.
So it's like a streaker. I don't know what happens.
That would be electric.
Someone test that.
You just
don't
throw
actually.
that thing so far into the lake, never found again. Like imagine that's
you're
crazy.
OB.
That's the crazy thing about disc golf. And you talk about fan sabotage. Like there are discs that are like Gannon was throwing that D1 like on every shot. What if somebody grabs that thing and yeets it into the water to where it can't be found? All of a sudden, he doesn't have his go-to disc. Like there is crazy stipulations.
That's why there's got to be security.
I was saying there is some
crazy
scenarios. That
it might
happen.
be a scenario too where like if you know there's a shot that is going to break, like if you know that this hole, like the OB is very tight or whatever, and
back
the
it
OB's
up a little bit.
Yeah, you take the spectators and you back them like 15 feet off.
Especially when there are so many shots that curl out and in.
Yeah,
which
like,
I think is electric.
If a spectator gets hit at that point, it's like 15 feet OB.
Right.
To where like it probably isn't going to affect it inbounds or out of bounds. When you're right up on the OB line, that's when you see kind of what we're seeing now. But again, there's nothing wrong with it right now.
Yeah.
It's just something could be wrong with it in the future. But Gannon played incredible all weekend. He was faced with stressful putt over and over and over. And as a 16-year-old, just hit them all.
That's the thing is, obviously in the end he did lose, but when you talk about having the killer instinct to win and knowing how to win, he clearly knows how, because he could have won that tournament 5 times because he was making the putt on all those playoff holes when he had to.
He was forcing Drew to have to play as good as Drew did.
Absolutely.
Like, if Drew messed up once, he lost.
And at the end of the day,
they were both just killers the entire round.
Yeah, let's not even mention Drew's putting was insane. Talk about one of the most streaky putters on tour previously has now become a guy who's just going to make it when he needs to.
EV7 took a huge risk. Not a huge risk, but when EV7 sponsored Drew, we were like,
interesting.
I think we even said it, like, Drew's not known for his putter. Like, his putter's known for what holds him back. And we were like, this could be great for EV7 if his putting turns around, but it also could be like a weird one if he didn't. And his putting turned
fantastic.
around.
And but back to Gannon, the thing is, even when he did end up missing his putt to lose, he missed high through a good putt. Like it was, and it was a long one.
Well, and the only reason he was in the playoff, well, not the only reason, because obviously there's shots all over the place, but the most obvious one is, he threw a great shot.
Well, that being,
well, it looked like a great shot that skipped, and I understand what Philo and Ian were saying is like, why challenge the top? Just throw it low into the front of the hill and let it skip up.
I think it's a very obvious case of he was trying to do that and had adrenaline going and just gassed it a little bit.
It still wasn't a bad shot.
It wasn't a bad shot.
Like,
he got a bad skip.
You throw that shot 10 times, probably 7 of them are within the bullseye, that like 10-foot circle.
They were all like, I don't know why you challenged the plateau. I'm like, I don't think he was trying to.
Yeah,
I think he just had adrenaling going and
he threw a good shot, and it just got a very unfortunate roll OB, and then he still had that 20-foot putt to make sure he even made the playoff.
Putting was
and he was able to regather himself and
he is like the new like James Conrad, where he gets anywhere within 50 feet of the basket. I'm like, yeah, he's making this.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like, and he knows he's making it.
Well, that's the other thing too.
He's
is
just
like,
got that attitude where he knows he's going to make it.
He missed the putt to win. So I guess but it was on the like 4th playoff hole. Cause that's the other thing too. You got to factor in.
That was the putt to push.
Or putt to push. Yeah. But the putt that lost in the tournament is what I was meant to say. But so some people might be like, oh man, killer instinct. He didn't have it. Well,
he could have.
He
won
made
3
it through
times.
4 playoff holes.
Right.
Like,
and
it was on the 4th
somebody was going to
hole.
miss eventually.
Yeah. Like when's the last time we've seen a playoff go that long?
Right.
That was thrilling.
He was also going first, which was pressure because Drew had the opportunity to lay up.
I did like that new playoff rule where you flip-flopped who went first.
Yeah, that's fun.
So it also doesn't go off the previous hole. It's a randomly assigned. I don't know how they randomly assigned it, but it's randomly assigned who goes first on hole 1. And then after that, you flip-flopped who had the tee. I was
mega bummed that and then luckily it didn't matter because they actually ended up getting to an interesting playoff hole. But the fact that they started on the most boring hole on that course, that hole 18 is the type of hole you want for a playoff. There's spectators all down the right. You've got options. You've got a really difficult hole. Just walk back to the tee and play 18 again. It would have been an awesome playoff hole. Instead, they're like, yeah, let's go to the wide open forehand or backhand shot.
Yeah.
It was very dumb. I'm glad it made it to hole 5 because at least that hole is ruthless.
Well, it's technically hole, 7?
Or is it 7? Yeah, 7. Yeah. That hole is ruthless.
Yeah.
Those bunkers, man. Oh, it was, I was nervous when Drew laid up. I was like, I don't really like that because I feel like worst case scenario, he would have just tossed it into the bunker and been in the same shoes. Because all I was thinking is like that layup putt.
That's terrifying.
Is going to be so scary, but he did it. So props, he executed.
Yeah, I saw people like talking about how genius it was to lay up there, and I was like, I just don't like it.
I wouldn't have done it just because it's another one where
Gannon best case scenario is taking a 3.
Right.
If you throw the hyzer shot, worst case scenario, you're gonna have a putt at 3. Mm-hmm. I guess worst case scenario is you're short on the green on that like golf green.
Right.
But for Drew, that's not really a thought.
Yeah.
Because you're throwing so far. So like more than likely you're gonna be in the bunker
Probably
worst
even
case
closer
scenario,
than Gannon, too, because Gannon was pretty far.
With a putt to at least push.
Yeah.
Laying up, you now have to execute 2 shots.
Exactly. That was the whole thing.
It doubled the amount of shots.
And if you miss that second one and go OB, it's it. It's
and the
over.
first one you haven't really practiced.
Yeah.
Because all weekend you've been going for the greens. And now you have a tough jokery layup.
That layup was kind of tough. He just kind of walked up and threw it. And I was like,
I was terrified. When I saw him throwing a putter, I was like, what are you doing? Because I was like, you might just hand this to Gannon. If you mess up the layup, the first layup or the second layup, you literally hand it to Gannon. Yeah. Because then Gannon just has to lay up out of the bunker and tap out a 4.
It was pretty. It was pretty impressive though. Drew was clutch. Very clutch.
Drew actually round 1 he shot only a 5 under, which was 6 back of the lead and outside of the top 40.
What a comeback.
This has to be one of the first times that a player after one round has been outside the top 40 and came back to win in disc golf.
Some of those Paul Worlds back in the day.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
part of it is just like the Las Vegas over the 4 rounds. There wasn't much scoring separation.
No.
So being outside the top 40, we have to remember he was only 5 back of the lead. Right. So 5 strokes through 3 rounds, not as impressive as being like, dude, he was at like 45th and then came back. But regardless, very impressive stuff no matter what. Because I mean, that's like, what, 10th card, 9th card?
Yeah.
And then came back to win.